You have to learn to take responsibility for your actions and your life in general. There's a lot of us that, I'm pretty young, I'm 18 years old. If you're watching this, you most likely are too. Or maybe not. But anyway, if you're young like me, and let's say you work a job, say it's a restaurant job, getting paid minimum wage, and you hate it. If you're my age, you can afford to quit that job and then just go find another one. You're not obligated to stay there. Now, of course, when you get older and you're married and you have kids and you realize your job sucks, it's not that easy then to then quit your job and start your business or whatever you wanted to do. That's a little bit more difficult, but ultimately, you're responsible for everything in your life. You can blame whoever the fuck you want. Oh, they said this, so I can't do that. Fuck what they said. You're the only person who has the capability to change your surroundings, to change your atmosphere, to change what you do with your life. People can say whatever they want. You can feel like you can't do something, but you're the only person that is capable of stopping yourself and putting yourself in motion. When somebody tells you you can't do something and then you don't do it, you're doing that. You're believing them. You're believing them so you don't do it. But that they didn't. It's not their fault. They said what they said and it affected you, but you ultimately, consciously or unconsciously, made the decision to not do it. Alright? And change can be scary. I know change can be scary. Change in terms of not being in a relationship anymore with someone. If you're with someone in a relationship and then things end and you spent so much time with them, you spent so much time talking to them, hanging out with them, and that's gone, that's change. Things are different now, and you got to figure things out along the way. Life doesn't always go as you plan. Shit happens sometimes, and it's always important to keep a positive outlook on life and look for the positives and the paths that you can go down that will lead you to greatness and for you to achieve what you want to achieve. But sometimes things happen and that doesn't work sometimes. The way I look at it is, if your life is shitty and you know it's shitty, of course you have to do something to change that. And again, I know change is hard sometimes. Even if you know the habits you have are bad, it's still and you know the habits you have are bad, and you know what you have to do to change that and to make your life better. Taking that first step can be very difficult. You can spend so much time in your head, oh, how much work is it going to be for me? What are other people going to think? There's 1,000 different reasons you can convince yourself not to take that first step. But once you take that first step, and you take the second step, the second step becomes easier, the third step becomes even easier, and eventually you get into a routine of things. Just like you got into a routine of the bad habit that you had before. And again, I know how difficult it can be to start, but the most important thing to do is sit down with yourself, and you have to, if your life is bad and you have many bad habits, you need to accept that your life is bad. You can't keep telling yourself, oh no, it's fine, I'll do it tomorrow, blah, blah, whatever excuse you want to give yourself. But you're not giving anyone else an excuse. It's only an excuse for yourself. You're only delaying your greatness, if it even comes at all, if you ever take that first step. You're the only person who's doing that. So take that first step, because that then spirals into, like I just said, spirals and spirals and spirals. And then you'll get where you want to be. And I see that change as, let's say your dream was to start some business. And instead of pursuing that business, you decide to work another job because it's safer, it's easier. There is a pain that goes along with each one of those things. You can work a shitty job that you don't enjoy, and that can be soul crushing, and that's painful. And the process, but then compare that to a process of building a business. Sure, there's so many different things you have to do. It's going to be difficult, but compare that pain of building what you want and the pain of doing something for the rest of your life that you don't want to do. To me, I'd say pick the one that you want to do. And going back to before, when you know you're at rock bottom, the first key is acceptance. Like I said before, accept where you are. You really gotta sit down with yourself and just think about, what am I insecure about? What do I think is wrong with me? What do I think I can do better in my life? What habits can I incorporate that'll make my life better? What habits can I take out of my life? And it's gonna take time. If you're one of those people where like you like listening to those guys who like get rich quick in like a fucking week or a day, this isn't for you, because the process of becoming better takes a lot of time. Now, after like a few weeks, after a month, you'll see some change, but it's not gonna be from here all the way to here. It's gonna be a little, but that's what it's about. Because I mean, you can choose to take the time to improve yourself, or you can take the time to just stay where you are, and then you'll be the same for the rest of your life. And you don't want that. I don't think anyone else wants that for you too. What am I going to say next? And listen, some of those habits are really difficult to break. Like, I know I've had habits in the past where I know it's bad for me, and I know I have to quit it to become better, but I still go back and do it. And then that's a part of your mind being addicted to whatever it is. I mean, if you listen, if let's say that all you do every day is sit down, watch TV, sit down, do your work, sit down the whole fucking day. No walking, no exercise, none of that shit. If you can sit here and tell me that you are content with that, you're fine. You're fine with the way your body is. You're fine with the way you feel every day. If you're fine with that, okay. If you're not fine with that, what are the things you have to do? You know, you have to get up. You have to start moving around. Really doing anything. You don't even have to start fucking running. You just gotta walk. You just gotta do something with your body. And going from that, sitting down every day to doing some sort of exercise, that'll be hard at first, but you'll make progress. If you don't like the way your body looks, that progress is gonna go slowly, but you're gonna get there. And even I sometimes have the belief in, when I'm starting a new habit or starting something, that is this really gonna work? Am I really gonna, so sometimes I'll try to compare myself to other people. Am I really gonna get to his level? Am I gonna look like him? Blah blah blah. And in some respects, comparing yourself to other people in terms of like, let's say you look at someone and they have a better body than you, you're like, okay, I want that. That can motivate you to work out and build better habits for yourself. Or it can get you eating up inside your head when you're working out and stuff, and you're like, oh, I've been working out for a year, I still don't look like him. So it's not good to compare to yourself to someone in that extent. But I mean, there's so many good examples of people who went from like rock bottom to either the top or just somewhere. Like David Goggins, he was, I don't remember the exact weight, 365 pounds or something, completely overweight. He was spraying for like pests and stuff like that. That was his job, like an exterminator. And he went from that to becoming a Navy SEAL. And becoming a Navy SEAL is like, I don't know about the world, but I know it's the most difficult training you have to go through in terms of the military in the United States. I know that. And he lost his weight. And this motherfucker, there's something called Hell Week, and it's just completely torturous, right? He went through it multiple times, and one of the times he had it was either both of his legs were broken or at least one was, and he kept running, he kept going. He developed his mindset so strong that no matter what fucking pain he felt, he still went. He wanted that so badly that he was able to persevere through a fucking broken leg and still physically move. That is fucking dedication. That is another level of your mind being developed. And sure, we can sit here and say he's an exception, I can't be like him, but the truth is, any one of us can do that. For some of us, it's a lot harder than others, and it would take a lot more time than compared to someone else. But anything in this world is fucking attainable. Like, all of us underestimate the power of our mind, the power of our beliefs. If you look in the mirror, affirmations, if you look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm confident, eventually you're literally going to be confident. Now, of course, you're going to have to go out and, if you have social anxiety, go and build confidence by talking to people too. You don't want to just stand in the mirror and do that. But doing those things combined will get you somewhere. And back to David Goggins, he went from the 365 pounds to the Navy SEAL, runs ultra marathons. That's a fucking 100-mile race in one sitting, and he did it in like some fucking extraordinary heat on a mountain or some shit. And he's done so many of those. And look him up and watch his shit and tell me you're not motivated. If you're not motivated to go for a run, if you're not motivated to go to the gym, if you're not motivated to do anything physical, pull up one of his videos. Just watch it for 30 fucking seconds, and I guarantee you're gonna get up and you're gonna do something with your life. It's those guys that you gotta look up to in a sense, and you can take motivation from them. Now, you don't want to rely on that. Discipline's kind of a mandatory thing, even though it can be kind of boring at times. Because the motivation isn't always going to be there. You're not always going to feel motivated. Like, you can wake up one day and say, oh shit, I really want to go fucking play the guitar today. And then you can wake up the next day and be like, yeah, I don't really want to play guitar today. But if you want to become a better guitar player, you should probably take a little bit of time every day to do it. Even if you're not motivated to do it, pick up the guitar, start playing stuff, and you'll probably get in the groove of things. It's like going to the gym. Like, one day you feel like going, and the next day you're like, oh fuck, I really don't want to go. But usually, not always, sometimes you're in there and you have a bad workout. But usually, when you get yourself up, and you do the things that you need to do, even though you don't want to do them, if you do that, it's going to get you somewhere. And you're going to build discipline, and eventually, even in the feeling of I don't want to do it might not go away, but even though you have that feeling, you're going to train yourself to still do it anyway. And that's the most important thing, perseverance, and keep going on your shit. And yeah, I mentioned social anxiety a little bit, so I can talk about that for a few minutes. I definitely used to be really socially anxious. I couldn't talk to girls, but it wasn't even girls. I couldn't talk to like anyone. I wouldn't feel comfortable just going up to anyone and starting a conversation and stuff like that. Nowadays, it's usually not a problem, depending on the situation. But developing your confidence with something like social anxiety is literally just getting yourself out there. And you can meet new people, you can meet new friends just by going up to some random guy and being like, hey, I'm blah blah blah. Just talking about anything. There's an infinite amount of things that you can talk about in the universe. And then when it comes to girls, you don't even have to start off with trying to get a girl's number. You can just start a conversation with a girl. Like, you can literally just introduce yourself to her, talk about anything with her, and then just walk away. Or just something small, a minute conversation, and you just walk away. At that point, you might as well ask for a number or something. But if you don't have the courage to do that yet, just talk. I mean, the thing is with girls is they're only human beings. Like, it's like with talking to girls, it's been, I know for me in the past and for a lot of other people, it's been like, it's like you have a fear of rejection. I mean, that's basically what it is. And the thing I always say is, literally the worst thing that can happen is you talk to someone, you talk to a girl, you're like, hey, can I grab your number, or I should grab your number, and they're like, no, thank you. That's it. Then you move on with your day. She moves on with her day. And I mean, I guess at the beginning, it can be like, oh shit, blah blah blah. But it's not really. Rejection isn't really a personal thing. Sometimes it can be. You could be like a complete fucking asshole or something, and then people just don't want to talk to you. And it can also just be yourself, like, psyching yourself out. And you had a certain conversation, you talked about a certain thing, and they're not into that. They don't believe in that, whatever. So that, again, like I said in another video, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you get rejected, okay, you saved yourself some time. She didn't say yes and then lead you on and waste your fucking time. She just flat out said no, and now you move on. It's as simple as that. And, I mean, once you are able to talk to people, I mean, you can talk to people about anything, and there doesn't even have to be an intention behind it. You can talk to a girl and not have the intention of getting her number. You can talk to a guy without the intention of getting his number. You can talk to a guy who, just any guy, and instead of trying to be friends with him, you could just have a conversation with them and then end it there. And then the small things, those small conversations, they just build up your social skills. And you can also have some charisma built in there. I mean, gotta be honest, I used to watch like some of those like pickup videos and stuff, and a lot of it is like bullshit, but there's small things in there where they're like, okay, take this step to talk to them, and like that's simple, easy stuff that is applicable. And I also used to watch some videos on like trying to be a little bit more charismatic. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with watching a video or two on developing your social skills or something like that. It's just the self-improvement trap. I heard another YouTuber talk about this, and it hit me, because there's a self-improvement trap where you get so kind of addicted to the process, and you just, what it can become is you watching so many self-improvement videos about this and that, how to do this and that, and you're watching it all in the same setting, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm taking in all this information, this is good, but you never actually apply it. So if you're watching self-improvement videos and stuff, my advice would be just watch like 1 or 2 a day, something like that, and then whatever you learn, apply that to your life, instead of watching 10 and then just watching 10 and not applying anything to your life. Because a lot of those videos have value you can take from them, but if you're just watching them for basically entertainment and you think it's doing something, but it's not, because you're not applying it. You have to apply things and not just listen. You have to listen and then apply things. So, overall, if you don't like your life right now, there's always things you can do to change, to make it better. Now, depending on where you are in life, you can't change everything. There's certain restrictions. But there's always some things you can do. And something I like to do is, when I have like a lot of feelings and stuff built up, just write it down. Just journal. Just write about how you're feeling. And then sometimes when I write, the answer just comes to me. I'll write about this issue, how I'm feeling, blah blah blah, and it's just like, I'll just get into the flow of writing, and then, oh shit, that's the answer, and I figured it out on myself. So yeah, writing helps, and I explained this in another video, and also going outside and going for a walk. Walking always clears my head, every single fucking time. Journaling sometimes misses. Sometimes I can write about my feelings and about how shit things are going, and nothing changes. But walking always does the trick. Swear to God. When you get outside and you feel the air, you breathe in, you look around you, look at nature. This is where you're supposed to be. This is where we originated. And you feel good when you're out here. And it allows your mind to be more clear, whereas if you're sitting in a room and just overthinking, that just spirals into nothingness, and most of the time you don't find an answer and you're just sitting there anxious. Whereas if you go outside and you walk and you think about that same problem, you either find an answer or you just help yourself feel a little bit better for the time being. So yeah, do those things. And with the habits, not all of them. The thing about habits is, I tried this once and it didn't really go that well, and it might work for you. But if you take, like, you look at 5 new habits that you want to incorporate in your life, and you try to do them all in the same day, starting all of them doing, I'm gonna do these 5 things every single day, blah blah blah. You're probably gonna realize that you're not gonna have time for every single one of those every day. Now you might, but you might not. And sometimes habits, I've heard the science says sometimes it takes 29 days or 60 days, or it's all over the place. I don't know what to believe. But what I do know is habits take some time to be ingrained and to be in place. So start with like 1 or 2. I would say 1 or 2 habits. Get those down, right? And then once those are down and they're in your routine, pick up another one, pick up another 2. And you don't have to do every single one of those habits every day. I know for me, when I first started like self-improvement, I felt like I wasn't achieving as much as I could if I didn't do every single habit every single day. But I was lying to myself, because even occasionally when I did do every single one every day, I still wasn't fulfilled. And this stuff with self-improvement, like going to the gym, something like meditation, walking, journaling, all the different stuff, it helps. It really does. But they're not the only things that are going to hold you down. You need good relationships in your life. You need work, whether it's a job or just work in general that you're doing, that you enjoy, that you feel is purposeful to your life and to other people's lives. It's like a whole thing. You can get just some of it and it's going to get you someplace, but you need more. You need everything essentially to make it whole. And there's like this, as a human being, there's like this little kind of hole inside of you, and it's kind of like this tiny emptiness feeling. And I can't tell you if that ever goes away or not. I know when you start to develop your life and become better and have better relationships, I know you don't feel as empty. I know things become a little bit whole. But hey, maybe one day down the line, that'll be eradicated for me and maybe for you too. But for right now, you just start something. Start some sort of change in your life. Do something that's gonna make your life better. Because when you make your life better, you're gonna make the people around you, you're gonna make their lives better too. So you're gonna be able to share some information with them, and whether they incorporate that stuff too is up to them, not up to you. You can only do so much by talking, but you can really help other people with this stuff. And a part of the reason I make videos like this is because I enjoy it, and because I think I can help some people. And I know some people are going to watch certain videos and they're not going to take anything away from it. It's going to be a waste of their time for some people. But my mentality is, if I can put out a video and 100 people see it, and 99 people think it's stupid what I said, but it helps one person, I'm fine with that. My goal is to mean, essentially help as many people as I can, even if it's not that many at first. I mean, you gotta start somewhere, right? Maybe one day the YouTube channel will be big, maybe one day it won't. I'm just gonna keep doing my thing and we're gonna see what happens. That's what you should do with whatever you're doing. Keep doing it and see what happens. You can have a big dream for it and you can get it somewhere. Or maybe it'll stay something small, but you doing it just for, if you enjoy doing it, I mean, why the fuck not do it? So, I guess the overall message is get yourself to a place where you're doing what you want. Get yourself to a place where you're doing what you want. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.